Top 10 iconic moments from the history of music. You will never guess what the number one music moment is. Like and subscribe for weekly videos. In the comments below, list one topic you think should be in a top 10 video and comment if you subscribe to this channel. On the 25th of March 1983, Michael Jackson was performing his new song Billie Jean for the TV program Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, Forever. Gliding across the stage, he performed his legendary moonwalk to the delight of the live audience. 2 months later, the rest of the country got to see the special moment when the TV special was broadcast. What would today's music be without the influences of boundary-pushing music artists throughout history? Those of us who grew up during the 70s, 80s and even 90s, cannot imagine a world in which there is no David Bowie, Prince, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner or Elvis Presley. Music. On this list are just some of the world's biggest stars and their iconic moments that will live on in the years to come. 10. The greatest cultural force in the 20th century. Elvis Presley set hearts aflutter worldwide with his golden voice and sexy moves. Even towards the end of his short life, he still had the ability to draw vast crowds at concerts and mesmerize them with his performances. Composer and conductor of the New York Philharmonic, Leonard Bernstein, called Presley the greatest cultural force in the 20th century. He went on to say that Presley introduced the beat to everything and he changed everything: music, language, clothes. It's a whole new social revolution. The 60s come from it. This photograph shows Elvis Presley on stage at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show in 1956. The crowd went wild then and continued to go wild at his future concerts and shows. 9. Moves like Jagger. Tina Turner has taken credit for teaching Mick Jagger his infamous dance moves, even though Jagger has never publicly confirmed this and instead credited his own mother with teaching him how to dance. The frontman of the Rolling Stones also credited some of his early moves to James Brown. Jagger strived to be like Brown because they were both in tune to the rhythms of their music. The Rolling Stones was, and still is, a defining force in hard rock and were named second greatest band of all time by Billboard magazine in 2019. In this photo, Jagger is striking one of his signature poses during a Rolling Stones concert at Wembley Empire Bowl in 1973. He is wearing one of his most iconic on-stage outfits consisting of a velvet unitard and a tailcoat. 8. The Queen of Soul. All through her famous lifetime, Aretha Franklin hobnobbed with a large group of different stars including Oprah Winfrey, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, the Rolling Stones, and the rundown goes on. She was a social liberties extremist and gave cash for social liberties dissents and performed at protests. Aretha has sold in excess of 75 million records worldwide and got a huge number of praises, including 18 Grammy grants. She had 20 number one hits on the R&B outlines and turned into the main lady to be drafted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 1964, Aretha was delegated Sovereign of Soul by Purvis Spann, a Van Circle racer, who put a crown on her head during a presentation at Chicago's Regal Theater. She talked about this second in her book Aretha, From These Roots Colloquialism. The main sovereigns I had known about were Dinah Washington and Elizabeth I and II. To be viewed as deserving of a similar title held by Dinah was an honor of the most noteworthy request. It was the exact opposite thing I expected when he left with that crown and really put it on my head. 7. The Hillbilly Shakespeare. Rufus Payne, an African-American blues musician, gave Hank Williams guitar lessons and had a huge impact on what Williams' musical style would become. Williams recorded 35 singles, of which 11 ranked number one of the Billboard Country and Western Bestsellers chart. He is regarded as one of the most influential singer-songwriters in history and was given the nickname Hillbilly Shakespeare in honor of his unique and lingering lyrics. This iconic photograph depicts Williams' debut at the Grand Ole Opry on the 11th of June 1949. After his performance he was encored 6 times and the audience had to be beseeched to stop to allow the rest of the show to continue. Unfortunately, Hank Williams didn't have a happy ending and he died at the age of 29 on New Year's Day 1953 after a long struggle with alcohol abuse and addiction to prescription drugs. His musical legacy, however, lives on. 6 Eurovision heroes. ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest in 1974, ensuring Sweden's first win in the competition, and the rest, as they say, is history. Between 1974 and 1983, the pop supergroup topped charts around the world with songs including Waterloo, Dancing Queen, and Mamma Mia. Waterloo is the song that won them the Eurovision crown, while Dancing Queen became the group's only American #1 single. ABBA's final performance happened in 1982 and they reunited in 2016. 5. A song of protest. Like Hank Williams, Jimi Hendrix had a short but extremely influential career. He had only a 4-year run but is still considered one of the best electric guitarists in the history of rock music, as put eloquently by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who described him as arguably the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock music. On the 18th of August 1969, Hendrix performed the Star-Spangled Banner at Woodstock, and his performance would later be called the most electrifying moment of the festival. Wearing bell-bottom jeans, a white shirt and a red headband, Hendrix unleashed his Fender Stratocaster in what could be interpreted as a protest against the government during a time of war in Vietnam. 4. Reginald Kenneth Dwight. Growing up in a house where his father wasn't at all interested in building a relationship with him, Reginald Kenneth Dwight focused on his junior scholarship at the Royal Academy of Music, which he was awarded at the age of 11. However, he left the academy before taking the final exams. After his parents' divorce, his mother married again, and in their new home, Dwight wrote several songs that would launch his fantastic career. Dwight legally changed his name to Elton Hercules John on the 7th of January 1972. He made elaborate costumes a part of his shows, and bold eyeglasses became one of his signature fashion pieces. Known for playing the piano, John sometimes also played the guitar, as is evident in this rare snap of him doing just that. Elton John went on to win 5 Grammy Awards, 5 Brit Awards, 2 Oscars and 2 Golden Globes among others, and was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1998. One of his most famous songs, Candle in the Wind, was adapted in 1997 for Princess Diana's funeral and sold more than 33 million copies worldwide. 3. Funny Girl. With in excess of 150 million records sold around the world, Barbra Streisand is outstanding amongst other selling recording craftsmen. Time. Furthermore, she isn't just a vocalist, yet additionally an entertainer and producer. She has won a few honors, including 2 Oscars, 10 Grammys and 5 Emmy Awards, and turned into the principal lady to compose, produce, direct and star in a significant movie when Yentl was delivered in 1983. Connection 8. She won her first Oscar in 1969 for Best Actress in the widely praised Funny Girl, close by Katharine Hepburn, who won Best Actress for The Lion in Winter. Their tie for Best Actress Oscar is one of just 6 ties at the Academy Awards all through its history. Barbra picked the less traditional list of 2 outfits for the honors service, a pantsuit wearing plastic sequins and a middle class and sleeves. What she didn't understand heretofore nonetheless, was that when splendid stage lights fell over the outfit, it would turn out to be essentially observed through. She said subsequently, "I had no clue about that. When the lights hit the outfit, it would become transparent." Barbra won her second Oscar in 1977 for Best Song in A Star Is Born. 2. What a comeback. Almost unknown in 1981, Prince was slated to be the opening act for the Rolling Stones. He appeared on stage wearing thigh-high boots, a trench coat and bikini briefs. The Stones fans were exceptionally intolerant and started hurling insults, homophobic slurs and even food and drinks. Prince left the stage in tears after 15 minutes. Fortunately, the star didn't let this terrible experience dissuade him from pursuing his music career. By the end of the 80s he was one of the most successful artists of the decade, and today he is celebrated as one of the best music artists of all time. By 1991 there was no trace of the humiliation that caused him to flee the stage 10 years earlier. All there was were screaming fans who couldn't get enough of the star. At the 1991 MTV Video Music Awards, Prince was performing Get Off when he turned around and revealed that his butt was covered only by illusion netting. The incident became known as Prince's defining VMA moment, even though some fans argued that what the audience saw was flesh-colored fabric and not Prince's actual behind. One Freddie stole the show in 1984. Bob Geldof and Mature expressed "Do they know it's Christmas?" after Geldof headed out to Ethiopia and saw the progressing revulsions of a starvation that had murdered large number of Ethiopians. The returns of the melody totaled $44 million. Notwithstanding, Geldof needed to accomplish more, so he concocted the Live Aid Advantage show, which was held in 1985. The show lineup comprised of in excess of 75 acts including Bryan Adams, Neil Young, David Bowie, Madonna, Sting, Phil Collins, and Santana. The exhibitions occurred at Wembley Stadium in London and at Philadelphia's JFK Arena, and $127 million was brought for starvation help up in Africa. The most noteworthy second from the show, Be That As It May, was the 20-minute execution by Queen. Freddie Mercury held the crowd's consideration as he and the band fueled through Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. Queen's fame was declining by then, however, with the shaking execution the world was reminded exactly how special an ability Mercury was.